Hey guys, Jason Schnitzer here with Remax Tiffany Real Estate, and what I've got for you today is your Cypress Market Minute for week 28 of this 2022 real estate market. Why I like to do these videos is just to keep you as updated as possible what's been going on here in Cypress in the last 7 days. As always, statistics is where we start. How many homes are for sale? How many have come up for sale? How many have gone pending in the last week? We're up almost to 50 houses for sale in Cypress. If you don't know, the average homes for sale in Cypress, generally speaking, over the last 20 years has been between 100 and 150 homes. So we're slowly but surely creeping up to that number. And as you can see, again, week over week, we've had more houses coming on the market than have been going off the market. If you haven't watched my videos in the last year, this has been starkly different, and we've almost had twice as many homes selling that have been coming on the market. Why is this happening? Again, if you haven't known and you haven't heard, interest rates have gone up. We started the year off at 3.25%. We're now up to 5.5%. I will say in the last month or so, we've seen a slight trickle down with regards to interest rates jumping up to 6% and slowly trickling back down to this 5.5% range, depending on how much money you're borrowing, of course. There are better rates out there potentially. But the really big news was, again, if you haven't heard, the 9.1% inflation number that came out for the consumer reports just this week. That's a huge deal. And why is it a huge deal? Because it affects the real estate market in a roundabout way. And what I mean by that is the Fed, the governing body that keeps an eye on inflation, is in charge of a couple of things. One, trying to help job stimulus, and number two, making sure that inflation stays in check. Their one mechanism of fighting inflation is raising and lowering interest rates. Now, they've already spoken many times this year with every intention of fighting inflation the best that they can. And then they've talked consistently about the fact that they have the wherewithal to do so and will be doing so with force, if you will. And they take action and take force by raising interest rates. So this last 0.75 point raise jumped up from 0.5%, which was the projected initial rate raise. They're now predicting potentially 2 more increases this year at that 0.75% increase. Again, we hadn't seen a 0.75% increase since the 1980s in basis points. So this is a huge deal. What could that potentially mean for interest rates? Well, whenever rates go up from the Fed side of things, that doesn't necessarily equal interest rates going up for mortgages, but oftentimes they go hand in hand. The Fed has completely stopped their quantitative easing program. They've not been doing that for a while, where they're buying mortgage-backed securities. Therefore, it's just left to a good old-fashioned supply and demand market. And some people might think that, and there's a lot of people that are predicting that we might see interest rates be up in the 6, 7, even 8% range towards the end of 2022. Crystal ball stuff depends on who you listen to, on what their predictions are. But me personally, I can't help but see with these inflation numbers coming out how the Fed is going to do anything else but keep raising rates, and that is potentially going to affect our interest rates, which will affect affordability for our buyers out there, which will affect house prices. If you've been watching my videos, you know that we're coming out of an affordability market where a lot of people could afford homes, therefore there's a lot of demand and little supply. That has switched in what seems to be overnight to where we're starting to see an increase in inventory and less buyers, because the fact is the payment for the buyer at 5.5% versus 3.25% can sometimes be to the amount of $1,500 a month. So that's going to have a huge impact on their ability to borrow more money and therefore pay a higher price. So what does this mean for you guys? It means it is so important for you to take advantage of our free real estate consulting. Buying, selling, investing, 1031 exchanging, moving up, moving down, moving out of state. We love to meet with you guys ahead of time. That way we can bring you up to speed on what's going on in our market, or get feel from you, what you're trying to accomplish, and best help give you the information so that you can make the best decision possible on your most expensive asset. So feel free, give us a call, reach out via social media, email, all that good stuff, and we would love to help. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hey guys, thanks again for watching this week's episode of O.C Realtor Talk. If you gained any value from this video, we'd really appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, and followed us on all our social media platforms.
Yeah, what Jason and I believe is really, really important for you, whether you're buying a house or selling a house, is understanding the process and knowing exactly what you're getting into. So if you ever have any questions, just follow the links below and we'll get you those answers.